Google will delete user accounts that haven't signed in for more than 2 years starting in December. It claims the move is for security reasons, but the company is currently in cost-cutting mode. Some people have criticized Google for not making its communications more clear. The new policy doesn't apply to schools or businesses using Google accounts or paying subscribers. Meta's next AI release will reportedly be a coding machine. It may be released as soon as next week. Code Llama will be open source and available for free. It will be based on Llama and suggest code to developers automatically as they type. New School Foods is a Toronto-based startup that has been developing a salmon substitute with the same taste and texture as the real thing. The company aims to see its products enthusiastically adopted by non-vegans. New School treated several journalists to a tasting dinner in late June. This article details what the experience was like and how New School creates the plant-based substitute along with some photos. Allergies have grown worse over the last few decades. The number of allergy sufferers is likely to continue growing. There are multiple theories about the causes. The environment and the makeup of our nose, gut, and skin microbiomes have a large role in influencing the rise of allergies. This article looks at how modern living is likely at the root of the recent rise in allergies. TypeScript might actually be okay as a compiler. This post walks readers through an experiment in writing a tiny type checker in TypeScript. TypeScript is surprisingly productive due to its great tooling and how powerful the language is at runtime and compile time. It allows developers to get fancy with types yet also be dynamic if they want to use high-order code. TypeStat converts JavaScript into TypeScript and modifies TypeScript types in existing code. It can add and remove types without changing runtime behavior. It can also infer types and annotate missing nulls and undefines. Meta told employees that repeated violations of the new 3-day-a-week office attendance requirement could cause them to lose their jobs. The new rule goes into effect on September 5. Employees averaged 2.2 days a week in the office in June. Those who were hired on a remote work arrangement are allowed to stay fully remote as long as they don't come into the office more than 4 times every 2 months outside major events. Intel has put a lot of work into improving its ARC drivers since they launched around a year ago. It has just released several improvements to its DirectX 11 drivers. Several games now run about 19% faster on average than they did last October. The improvements make ARC GPUs almost as performative as the GeForce RTX 3060 in DirectX 11 games, but they are more than competitive in DirectX 12 games. The YC library contains videos, podcasts, and essays for startup founders. A base model is sufficient and adaptable to most use cases. Session tokens are pretty secure and attacks that are prevented by short session timeouts are really rare. Russia's Luna 25 spacecraft crashed into the moon after communication was interrupted. It had reported an emergency situation the day before as it was trying to enter a pre-landing orbit. The head of Amazon's cloud computing business told employees to think about the serendipitous things that could happen when returning to office rather than give them data to back up the decision to require workers to come back to the office, saying that such data was hard to come by. Guess culture stops working at some point. Leaning into ask culture will help you get more out of situations.